riotous living is for you, but I do know that the boy was doing something that he had no business doing. And while he's there doing some riotous living, he wastes all he has, goes and gets a job at the hog pen. And one day the boy, while smelling the stench of a hog pen, the Bible says that he comes to himself and says, surely I can go back to my daddy's house. And church, while the boy is headed home, daddy is looking afar off. And the Bible said that daddy with open arms lets his son come back home regardless of the mistakes that he's made. Daddy's arms are wide open, church. He kisses him, gives him a robe, gives him a ring, gives him a reception, and declares that my son that was dead is now alive. That's the whole story. Since you didn't shout, we got to unpack it. Church, when we look at this text, church, first of all, it's a word about God's gifts. Notice what the text says, church, that the boy runs to his father and petitions him for an inheritance. And when he gets it, church, some scholars believe that this was the boy saying, Daddy, I wish you were dead. Daddy, I wish you were gone because I need what you have stored up for me. And church, I want to suggest that the boy doesn't really wish that his daddy was gone, but the boy wants to get from under daddy's roof, following and abiding with daddy's rules. Now, all of us have been there, if we be real this morning, that we wanted to be grown before it was time to be grown. Oh, but if I could go and talk to my mama today, I want to come back to your house. There wasn't no bills at your house. There wasn't no doctor appointments at your house. I didn't have to get my own food at your house. But the boy doesn't really wish that his father was dead. He just wants to get from under daddy's roof, abiding by daddy's rules. And he takes this substance, church, and the Bible says that he runs to far country. Now you're going to miss the shout, reading the shout, that daddy willingly gives him his inheritance. First, it's a word, church, that God will give you some stuff without requirement. Notice, church, in order to receive an inheritance, somebody got to die. But the text says that nobody has died, and the boy still receives what's for him. God, you're going to miss it. And sometimes, church, God will bless you so that God won't even let you meet the requirements of a blessing before God chooses to bless your life. There are some people right here today who can testify, I got a job I ain't even got the education for. I live where I never had the credit to live. Matter of fact, I'm walking and dressed in some stuff today that I had no business being able to afford. Where are my people today who can testify? I've been promoted and didn't even have seniority. But here I am to testify that God blessed me without requirement. Y'all waiting on me and I'm waiting on you. Where are my people that can testify here today? I've been blessed and I didn't even meet the requirements to be where I am in my life right now. Degree, didn't have the education, but God saw fit to let me get there anyway, because God will bless you when you don't meet the requirements. Here it is, packaged another way, that God will let you make it when you fall short. Because there are times, church, when people think you need some requirements and you gotta have some prerequisite to be where you are. But our God blesses without pretense. Our God will bless you when you don't meet the requirements. And I'm here today because I didn't meet the criteria. And what I have discovered, church, is that God usually doesn't call folk who are qualified, but God will qualify the folk whom he called. Because God will bless you when you don't meet the requirements. It's a gift, church, that God blesses the boy when he doesn't meet the requirements. But then it's a shout about that when God gives gifts, that God will give it without schedule. Daddy isn't dead yet. But the text declares he's the younger boy, which means he's second in line. But when daddy blesses him, the boy skipped the line. God, y'all gonna miss the show. Church, God is so much God that he will let you skip the line. And where's my crowd today that can testify? I got some stuff off schedule in my life that I wasn't even prepared for what God was doing for me. But thanks be to God, he let me skip the line. Oh, I wish that brother in John chapter 5 could peek his face in the sanctuary, sitting at a pool for 38 years. He said, every time I try to go up there and get myself in the pool, somebody steps in front of me. But Jesus shows up and said, babe, bro, you ain't even got to wait in line. Pick up your bag and let yourself walk. Because God is so much God, he'll let you skip the line. Hey, church, whenever God lets you skip the line, it's usually a sign and signature that you got the favor of God on your life. So I understand that some of y'all can't say anything because you don't know what favor feels like. But there are 19 or 20 of us who are in on the ride today who can testify. I got the favor of God on my life. And I know what it looks like for God to have preference and for God to let me skip the line. Okay, some of y'all don't know how to get happy. Here's what favor looks like. When you're on your last $20 and you go to the store and the Lord lets your ring go $19.99. That's the favor of God on your life. Well, my people today who can shout about the fact I got favor on my life. Off schedule. Gives the boy what he needs before it's time. And church, it's a word about the fact that God will gift us without requirement and without schedule. But then it's a word about our guilt. The boy takes what daddy has given him. And Pastor, the Bible says that the boy runs to far country and wastes his substance on riotous living. When it comes to our guilt, church, the boy teaches us a lesson about far country. Some scholars believe, church, that far country was only a mile and a half from his daddy's house.